registration list, so we are really happy that that you like our workshops, and many of you are second or third time attending in our workshops and info sessions. So today we have for you some more tips from experts and jury member according to EIC Accelerator. We would like to focus on a business model canvas, but specially designed for EIC Accelerator, concentrated on these issues which have to be prepared for EIC Accelerator. And Darek will be our speaker in that topic. Some of you probably remember last time we didn't finish because we were trying to discuss all issues which are in the full proposal template. So today we will finish. But during business model canvas description, because it's connected, so most of questions we didn't have time to discuss are in scope of business model canvas. So we prepared slides in that way to join all perspectives to show you how to prepare it for good or very good or excellent application. Then we'll focus on meeting with a jury. So we would like to present you methodology of two tools. It's storytelling and pitching, but from the perspective of interview with the jury. So at the end, of course, Darek, because he's a jury member, he will also give you some tips and tricks about this meeting. So this is all from my side, or maybe next slide. Okay, thank you. So because some of you are first time, so we would like to introduce ourselves at the beginning. So I'm expert evaluator I was in Horizon 2020 since 2015, especially in SME instrument and EIC Accelerator pilot calls. I was also evaluating many projects also for RIA schemes in the area of security, and also in CESAR joint undertaking in new space area. Why these areas? Because I work in the defense and security sector. Exactly, it's Air Force Institute of Technology in Poland, which is connected also with the Ministry of National Defense in Poland. So my background is, work in the projects and innovation management for many years, and participation in FP7 and Horizon 2020 projects as a participant, but also as an expert evaluator. So my key competences are commercialization, project and risk management, and of course business development and in R&D organizations, and also science to business cooperation. So really short about me, and Darek, the floor is yours. So you can start to introduce yourself and then start with business canvas model, and I will join you in the second part of our meeting today. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me? Thank you so much, Anna, for introduction, for starting this seminar. Good afternoon to everybody. My name is Dariusz Janusek. I used to be an expert, remote expert in SME instrument program for a few years, for 4 years. And now I'm a jury member of EIC Accelerator. So this is the final step of the revision of the projects, which and the decision-making process about the financing in the EIC Accelerator. My background is I'm an electronic engineer, and at this moment I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm specialized in health and medtech. Okay. Today we will start with business canvas model and how to use the information. I will tell you how to use the informations which were collected during building and developing business canvas model in the EIC Accelerator application. And those of you who participate in the previous our meetings knows that the applications, that the most important thing which should be remembered by everybody here is that the application should be consistent. It consists of mainly three parts. The first one is linked with the technology itself, the state technology readiness level, and the IPR and the current state of development and the future steps which should be done to increase the TRL level of the project. The second part is related with business, and business canvas model is the best way to collect all the informations which are needed to fill in all this informations in the application. And the third part, generally speaking, the third part is linked with project management, milestones, the deliverables, which should be delivered during the project, during the grant part, or during the investment part of the project, and of course resources like team. And today I would like to show you. I'm not going to discuss the business canvas models in details, but I want to show you how to work with business canvas model to prepare to build the very good storytelling application which shows all the informations which are necessary, which are needed, which must be included in the application. I'm going to start with history of Chester Carlson, who was inventor, and he invented the photocopier, and which was a breakthrough technology because with this machine you could make 2,000 copies a day, and the competitive devices can do 20 or 30 copies a day. But the problem was the price. The price was 7 or 8 times higher than the competitive products. So he started to work on the with some consulting companies to find the best business model, but they started to look for the models which are already on the market, which is usually done by entrepreneurs. So they are trying to check how the solution, how the product which was developed within the company is sold on the market at this moment currently. So the outcome from this research was there is no way to sell this product on this market in that time. But what they did, they started to work on developing a totally new business model, which is they they propose because the product was dedicated to the companies, they make an offer to the company that they can have this device for $95 a month, and 2,000 copies is included in this price, and few cents for every other copy, and they do not have to pay whole price of the device. And they liked this model very much. The companies liked this model very much, so they started not to do the 2,000 copies a day, not 2,000 copies a month, but 2,000 copies a day, and this model works until now. Another example is Google. They developed search machine, and they had a different problem because their product was for free, but they have to make money on the business. So they started to work also on the business model, and they started to earn money based on advertisement, which was personalized to the person who was using the search machine, because based on the information which was delivered by the person who was using the search machine, the machine decided what kind of information could be needed by those persons, and the advertisement was very dedicated to the needs of the person, of the end user, of the user of this product. And what is common in these two cases? The common thing is that they had a very great breakthrough technology, but they needed also to develop a business model, and altogether the technology and the new business model built a product which could be deployed on the market. Otherwise, only the technology, even it was brilliant technology, probably they would fail with the deployment of this product on the market. So usually making the application to the EIC Accelerator, you are at the tier 6, which means that you have MVP. It is very good to have MVP at the one of the end users or final customers, and you have proven technology, but your case is to prepare your product to the needs which are needs of the end customers, and this is very important, and that's why I at the beginning told you that the whole application must be consistent, which means that the technological part of the application, the business part of the applications, and all the tasks you are going to do during the project, and the financing needs and activities which were declared in the product, in the application, should be consistent. So the business model should be dedicated to the needs of the end users. That's why it's good to do the Canvas business model. There is no space in the application to put a Canvas business model, but the information which you can acquire from this model are distributed around the whole application, and I will show you some examples where to put these informations. And for sure, they allows you to prepare consistent business model. And my idea today is to show you two examples. This is hypothetical scenarios, hypothetical informations, how to work with business Canvas model. For example, first of all, if you are starting to work with the business Canvas model, you are starting from the right side to the left side. The most important parts are customer segment and value proposition. And it should be clear at the beginning that the technology, the device, whatever you have, whatever was developed in your company, it usually is not the value proposition in 99%, and the value proposition is the way you are solving the needs of the end customers. For example, cell phone itself, the device, it's not the value proposition. The value proposition is the possibility to make calls in every place in the world, almost in every place in the world, to have access to the internet, wireless access to the internet, and so on and so on. So the most important parts are these two segments. You have to start to work with it and to build the model which is the business model which can give the profit to your company by delivering the value to the customers, and of course minimizing the risks which are related to the commercialization and to the market deployment and the scale up, of course. And just hypothetical, we have a solution which can be used by big corporations and or SMEs, and solve some problems which are related to the management in those companies, for example. But you have to decide, you have to make a business decision which way should be, with which way you should start, what is your beachhead market. And let's start with corporation. It looks nice. You do not have too much customers to make a huge profit, because they will give you the access to the huge market, because these are big players on the market. But so in customer segments we can put the big corporation. The value is very well defined, and these customers need the solution for the pain they have. But we have to analyze the whole business model. And if you look at the channels and the customer relations, you can see that you need to have an access to this to these corporations, and everybody knows that this is not easy task and it takes lots of time. So you could imagine, you can calculate that the acquisition of the customer is quite expensive. So you have to put in the cost structure also the information about the cost of the acquisition of the customer, and sometimes and you have to think if it is still profitable or not. If the revenue stream which can be generated by the company, which is another section of this business canvas model, is enough to make a profit in the company. So to have to start to business with the corporation, you have to have access to those people who decision-making people, and you need in the key resources also the linked or people who can do it, who have experience with working with the big corporations, or you have to acquire this resources to the company. If you do not have such resources, you have to think about the key activities, which is to find the way how to access proper people in the company and start to work with this business. Of course, if in every section of this business canvas model, you can generate a risk, and this risk usually you need to define all this risk and also define all the procedures which can mitigate this risk, so decrease the risk for your business. And this means that you have to test your business model on the market, and especially test this business model in the sections which are related to the highest risks. And if you think that this model which includes the cooperation with big players on the market is not good to start to work start to do the marketing, probably you should change your way of thinking about the business model and how to work with your end customers. So maybe we should change customers. If the product, the value proposition is dedicated also for SMEs, it's much cheaper to access the CEO at the small company than the decision-making person in the big corporation. So the customer relation, it's it is a cost. It's cost of the acquisition of the customer, it's cost of the keeping of the customer, is cost of increasing the number of the customers. So you have to all this information you have to include in the cost structure of the business model. But probably this is a hypothetical scenario. Probably they will expect cheaper products, for example, cheaper products, which means that you have to change something in your value proposition or methodology. Probably you have to check if you can do it with the current solution or not. If not, you have to calculate the cost of changing the innovation, but also making decision about sell to the corporation and to the SME, small business. You have to make decision about IPR, about the protection of your technology. If the technology is different from the big players and the small players, you have to think about making patents which will protect your products on the market, especially on the beachhead market. So the market you are going to start. Sometimes the new technology requires also new materials, which should be built, manufactured by partners, your future partners in this business. So in the key partners, you have to include the partners, but you have to also define the risks. Is there 1,000 companies who can deliver to you the materials to build your product, or there are only 3, 1 in Europe and 2 in other places in the world? If you will start to work with a segment of customers who needs cheap products, are you going to buy the components to your product from your partners for the price which allows you to make a competitive product on the market? So as you can see, all these components which are in the structure of the Canvas business model are linked with each other, and your role is to first to make a homework. So it means to develop the business model. You can look on the models which are already operating on the market, but this model, because should be dedicated to your relation between the market, which means the customer segments, and the value proposition. And this model can should protect your business from huge risks, and because of the innovative product you have, the risk is also time. Some people said that if you are starting to work on the solution of some customer needs, and this is breakthrough technology and very innovative, probably 5 other companies already started to do it. So the time is crucial. And also you need to make a market deployment. You have to define all financial needs. So access to all the resources which are needed to build the product and to deliver to the end customers. And another example is which is related with the costs. I wanted to show is the product which is dedicated for medical market, medtech. Let's say it's a medtech device for treatment. and or for supporting medical diagnosis. And there are also several ways you can start to work on the market. Just to show you the example. Of course, you can start to develop the medical device, which is related to starting first in human study, which means the testing the device on humans, then clinical trials, which are very, very expensive, do the fulfill all the regulatory requirements, who are also expensive and takes time. And of course, you can do all these things, but you have to think about your product. Is it really breakthrough technology? So the market can wait at least 2-3 years for your product when you will build and start to marketing of the medical device. Or maybe you can think about kind of gadget without any need to make clinical trials, any need for sophisticated certification process, and any need which is related with the manufacturing and quality check system in manufacturing companies. It's very cheap, very fast to introduce into the market, but to start to be a seller or deliver of the medical devices, probably you have to have a brand which is which is well known for everybody and trustworthy for everybody. So maybe starting with gadget is not a good way. You have to think about your value proposition. Is it okay or not? Because from one side you can have earnings which at the very early stage of the development process, and from other side probably it will close you a way to the hospitals and to start to work with key opinion leaders and so on. But people are also thinking about other ways. Maybe you can start with pets, and the regulatory requirements are not so strong as in case of health devices, in the devices for people. So your idea, you must work with a business canvas model and build the model which is the best for your product, for your value proposition, and for your company. Which means and also for the market, for the readiness of the market. You have to analyze all these things and make a business decision. And nobody will judge you about this business decision for sure. If it's profitable and business and unique on the market, which can make changes on the market, and the risk is reasonable, for sure, this application will be good and probably will receive financing from EIC Accelerator program. But you have to make a business decision, and to make good business decision, you should work on this business canvas model. My advice is do not spend months working on business canvas model, because everything is changing. This is not only one-time task. You have to come back to the business canvas model every time you will receive or acquire some new information about competition, about customer needs, about the market, about everything which is included in this business canvas model. So this is a process, and probably never-ending process, because life is changing and everything around is changing. But building the application for EIC accelerators, this is the business proposition for European Commission. So give me the money and I will change European market and make them more competitive in comparison to other markets. So the idea was to show you that there are several possibilities, that the technology itself is usually not enough to make a product which could be deployed on the market, and all these things should be worked out together, and it's your role to build the best possible business model and to put it into the application. And one more conclusion from this discussion is that using Canvas business model or other tools which can help you in building the business model will guarantee that all the business components will be consistent, and this is very important. If the evaluator will find the inconsistency in the applications, for example, we are going to build a spaceship, but you do not have resources for this, like financing, money to build the spaceship, or the end users are not need to use your spaceship or buy spaceship, and you are going to sell to the customers spaceship, or there is some gaps in your business analysis, this is treated by the evaluators as a risk for whole business, because they do not know exactly if this is by mistake because you missed something. If you missed something in these applications, it's because I don't know why, but it could be because you are not dedicated to do precise work and to collect all the informations which are needed to build the good business and profitable business and relatively low risk business. Or you do not have knowledge about the risks which are on the market. As it was told you during the last seminars, the experts are professionals, and they could not know exactly, they could not have all the detailed informations about your solution, about the technology of your solutions, but for sure they know the market, and for sure they know the expectations from the end users, and for sure they know what kind of resources and how much time it takes a process of building and the certification process, for example, patenting process, and all these processes which are needed to build a product which can be scaled up and deployed on the market. So this is very important. Be precise, be consistent, and concise, because there is not so much space in the applications to put lots of text. So and the experts are looking for all the informations which are related to the business development and to the product and so on, what was said before. So, and business canvas model was introduced, developed by Alex Osterwalder, and you can look at the presentations done by Alex, and if you are not very much familiar with the whole structure of this business canvas model, I would advise you to go to the works which are published by Alex and or some presentations. But now I want to connect. There are 9 segments. If we can come back, 9 segments, and which should be worked out in So you have to start with customer segments, then define the value proposition, define channels and customer relations, and this will build the revenue streams, and then you should work with key resources which are needed to build to deliver the value to the customers, and key activities which should be done. And you for sure you need partners, because at this times it's very difficult to build product, especially deep tech products, without cooperation with external partners. And this produce costs, and at the end the revenue should be the turnover from the investments, and the revenue should be higher than the cost structures. In every section of this business canvas model, every section can generate barriers, can generate risks, and also your task is to test the business model, test if it works on the market. And as you remember, these two cases I told you about at the beginning, these guys do not have opportunity to test these business models because they were not working on the market at these times. So this is also the risk. But without the innovative business model, this technological innovation probably couldn't be deployed on the market, so they would fail. And okay, so the client segments, there are different ways you can make define the market for the product, and split the market into the segments, and make a decision which segment should be started, the commercialization in which segment should be started, and make a definition if it's mass market or niche market or other types of markets. But usually the breakthrough technology is not dedicated exactly for one segment of the markets. So this is what I wanted to tell you, describing these two hypothetical scenarios. So it's your business decision to find the best way for the commercialization of your product. You have to choose if you are going to start with a niche market, and but you can generate but you can sell products with high margin, for example, or other segments on the same market, or your product is a platform, which means that it can be used on different markets. For example, the product could be innovative sensor, which can be used by medical doctors, which can be used by agro-food, or in I don't know, industry. You have to decide, okay. And the best way to start is to find the market which is, let's say, blue ocean, which is the competitive environment is not very crowded. Because if you are starting on the red oceans, there are many competitors on the market, you have to fight with them. And the next thing is, okay, at this moment it's enough. And the client segments is related to the market, and I will talk about it a little bit more later. But your customers, you have to be aware that the final customer is usually it's not only one person. In case of health, for example, you have end user, which is usually patient, which it is beneficiaries who are medical doctors, and payer. This could be a hospital, this could be a national health insurance company, or other people or institutions who are paying for the medical services. And sometimes, of course, your product must work on not only on one segment but on 2 or more segments. The example is they are magazines. So from one side you are distributing the information to the huge amount of people. From the other side you have to make a service to people who wants to put some advertisement in this magazine. And these are 2 different segments, and they have to be served together to make a business. And okay, market segmentation, you have to be aware of this segmentation, but building the application for EIC Accelerator, try to describe the beachhead market, so the market you are going to start to sell to, and of course include the information what are the other possibilities making a growth in your company, which means increasing sell to other segments of the market or other markets. And this should be also discussed, but this is a business proposition. The application is exactly its business proposition. So first of all, show that you have idea about the whole business model, and this business model is related to the beachhead market you are going to start, and this is profitable and with reasonable risk business. And of course, the customer segment is related with institutions, with customers, generally speaking, and they must have you have to prove that they are willing to pay for your solution. This is also very important. Okay, describe the market. You have to go describe based on the information about the size and the growth rate, annual growth rate, and especially during next few years when you will finish your development and start the market deployment. And okay, from the point of view of the application, very important part is the social impact, all the impacts, because your product as an innovative product will change the market, the way things are sold on the market, but from the point of view of the European Commission, very important is impact on social impact, economical impact, impact on climate change, so it or environmental impacts. So it should be separately in details described in the application. And the value proposition, I started to talk about it. There are several features which make the value proposition competitive. So the value proposition should be described in comparison to the existing solutions, so which means to the competition which is already on the market, and the solution you are building within your company must fulfill a problem of the end customers, of the or customers, generally speaking. And you have to think about the main expectations from the side of the customers and show that your product in this parts of the solution are better than existing solution. And of course, there is always competition on the market. Even if you have breakthrough technology, there is competition. This could be direct or indirect competition, but competition is every solution which solve the problem of the end customers at this moment. and dissemination and communication, which is a kind of information. You have to deliver the information. How are you going to start to work with your customers, and what kind of barriers you can expect on this way, and how long is the journey with your product, and how many other people are have to be involved in the process of delivering of the product to the market. On the relation with the end customers, it was also pointed in my first example. Probably you have to decide if you are going to work, what kind of marketing strategy are you going to choose. It's better to go to the B2B, which is quite a good model, but sometimes the end customer acquisition cost is very high. But working with B2C is sometimes you have to learn all your end customers how to use, and show that they need to use this product, which is also quite expensive and takes time. This relation with the clients also shows you the can be shown in the commercialization strategy. And income sources. This is a crucial part of the business model. You have to show where are the money. In one of the movies that it was told like this. So you have to build all the customer journey. So put your innovation in one of the chains of this whole process. And of course, usually there are two types of earning money. The first one is that you are, generally speaking, the first one is that you are earning money by selling something to the end customers. But a very good way to earn money is to make savings to your customers, because this is win-win business. So the customer have savings, you have income generated by part of this savings, and everybody is happy. But this should be analyzed by you, building the model and making a business decision. How are you going to do the business? And of course, resources, for sure, your team. And it was pointed many times during our last seminars that the team is crucial, because team and the experience of the team is guaranteed that the product or the technology which was developed can be deployed on the market. That you are the only ones, you have to show that you are the only ones who can do this with this product on this market. So talking about the experience of team members who can be used in the marketing process. And this is second thing which is really crucial. You have to be the owner of the technology. You have to be the owner of the products which are you are going to sell on the market. If you are start to work on the big market, and usually the very innovative products are dedicated for the global market, you will start to work with big players on the market, and there are lots of money on the table, and nobody will ask you for the permission if you will to use your technology if you won't be protected. So you have to start. We have FTO, freedom to operate analysis, and this is must have, and this must be done first, and then start to protect your idea, your innovative solution. And first application, patent application, and for the application to EIC Accelerator, the patent application is enough, but you will have to put also all the IPR strategy. So show the expert that you are aware that this is a very important part, that you are the owner, that you can keep the competitive advantage for at least, I don't know, 2-5 years after starting the market deployment, and which means that the business from the investor point of view is quite secure. And key action, of course, this is the third part of the application, which is related to the project development and all the milestones and deliverables and tasks which should be done to increase the technological readiness of the product from TRL 6 to TRL 8, and to be ready to start the commercialization with use of investment money. And I told you also at the beginning, I was talking about the money which are needed to deliver the value to the customers, which means to finish the development and to start the marketing. And you have to be exactly aware how much money you need and when you need. So this your plan, your finance plan, should be quite precise if you take into account the value of the money and also the time you will need this money. This should be also verified by you by analysis, market analysis. And key partners, all the stakeholders you have to work with, and please keep all the main technology within the company. If the evaluator will see that during the whole development process we are going to outsource some crucial parts of the development to the external company, this is a huge risk for the product. This is huge risk for you as a company, because you can lose the IP to the things which were to the crucial things of your product. So be careful with making partners, with working with partners, and try to build the process in this way that you have a few options on the market, so you are not you do not have to work with one specific partner, and there is no other way to develop your product like working with this partner, because the relations, very strong relation with the external partners, is quite big risk for the business. Cost structures, what I told you before, it's all these things which are related to the costs which are needed for the development process and commercialization. And if you look at the just closing this part, cost structure, because you have a very innovative product which is quite risky, and you have to decide if at which stage of the development you are at this moment. If you need the grant money, maybe you do not need this money, you can make a scale up and market deployment just right now. And maybe you need money to increase the TRL of the product, so prepare the final product, and the risk of the market deployment is not very high, so you can find the money private money from the market. You do not have to ask the European fund for this money, for the investment money, but you have to be aware that usually private money do not like high risk, And this investment, which is done by the European Fund, is a patient capital, and this capital, when you will sign the investment agreement, will start to work with you to make global commercialization. Of course, there is a section in the application where you are showing your cap table, so your investment history, and it's good to have an investor on board, and it is a very good thing, because there are some other people who believe in your product, which it means that there are people who did the due diligence of your business, of your technology, and they believe in you and your product. But also European Fund is starting to look for other possibilities for the investments, and this is a patient capital. They do not require to make an exit after, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. They can stay 7-10 years in your company until you will be ready to start to work with other partners, business partners, because at this moment they will do the exit from your company. And if you it's good to put in the application also letter of interest, which were written by the investors, because private investors do not like high risk, so maybe they can say you are not ready to be invested by us, but we are very much happy to invest after 2-3 years when you will be at the precise point of the development. And this list of intent it's very, very important from the point of view of the application. And if you do not have such a list, it means that you haven't checked on the market if there are any other possibilities to find the financing for your product, and which is quite kind of risk because it means that the market check was not done very precisely. And some other examples, just very shortly because of time. Nescafe, they started to work. They started the business from selling the coffee machines. And if you look at the business canvas model, the yellow light yellow informations, it's the first model they started to work. So they started to sell the machines. The machines were manufactured by partners, which was quite crucial, and these manufacturers were quite expensive, so the product at the end was also expensive, but the profit was mainly for the manufacturers of the coffee machines, not for the Nespresso. And according to this business model, they have a one-time income, which was related to sale of the device. And Nespresso was almost bankrupt during this time, until they changed the business model to the innovative business model. Just shortly speaking, they started because the value proposition was the very good coffee, and they started to sell the pods. So the machine was not crucial in the process. So the income from the selling of the machine was not very high, but they are started to selling pods with the coffee, which were dedicated to the machines. So if you can look at the resources, you can see that patents, they need to have a strong patent portfolio, because to stop all the competitive companies to build pods which can work with the machines delivered by Nespresso. And also to be recognizable on the market, they need to have a good brand, because they stopped to work with a third-party retail, and they started to sell in their own shops. And what is important, selling pods, they have a recurrent income, which is very good way for very good for the company. Sometimes it's better to have a lower income but recurrent than one-time income from one sale, because you have to include the cost, as I told you, the cost of customer acquisition, and this is clear when you come to the calculations of the profit at the end of the building the business model. And very shortly, iTunes. This is business model of service of delivering the music to the end customers. So if you look at the key resources, iPod hardware is the tool which is necessary to deliver the value to the end customer. This is not more than 95% of the income was generated from sale of the music. And next example is SunPower. They developed very good photovoltaic panels, and they started to work with companies, and they said, we can make all this installation on your company if you will buy this installation from us. And the company said, and we can build huge savings during next few years for your company. But they said the upfront investment is very big, and even if we will have savings and we will be profitable after a 5th or 6th year of operation, we do not have money for that. We don't want to invest such big money for that. So they have to think about different model, and they started to distribute the costs about the financial partners of the company, and make a long-term agreement with the end customers, which was for the delivering the energy to the company. So they make the risk, which is related to the huge investment, upfront investment, lower, because the cost was distributed on several partners. If you will finish your first business canvas model, this is usually this is only the first step. This is not only one-time task. Work with this model every time you have new informations from the market, from your customers. Change the information which are included in all the sections of the business model, and this is a continuous process. And test if you recognize any risk in this model, in any section of this model, test it on the market. If it works or not, it's good to do it before you will start to use this model for selling your product in the market. And okay, probably Anna, and that's all from my side at this moment.
Thank you very much, Darek.
We have to switch probably.
Yes. So exactly, I'm going to switch and start to share my
Darek, could you allow participants to ask questions for a while?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, all the questions are very much welcome. I wanted to propose that you will put in the chat box also information about your businesses, so maybe we can make some advices about business models for those businesses, or any questions? I'm not sure I can see the chat box at this moment. Okay, do not hesitate to ask questions. It would be very nice from our side to answer your questions anytime.
Yes, as Darek said, we are here to support you, to help you. If you have any case, it would be really good to. It would be great to help you and to discuss particular cases. And homework, because these are workshops. So we would like to ask you to prepare the let's say basics of Canvas business model. It might be two first columns, I mean customer segments and value propositions. The rest would be easier when you start with these two, and of course, if we meet next time, it would be also good to discuss it. Because when you start to do it, regarding to EIC Accelerator, I mean, not just ideas or whatever, but your cases which you would like to apply to EIC Accelerator. So it would be great to work with you on your cases. That's why we would like to ask you to do some homework. And now I would like to focus on the other aspect, which is interview with the jury, because it's presentation. It's also connected to presentation in PowerPoint, or every aspect connected to presenting your solution, your technology, your innovation. So first, I will describe you a method called storytelling. Then Darek will tell you about the pitching, but exactly for the jury member. Why storytelling? Because as I said at previous presentation, and it's important also for any other undertaking, that you must be clear with the description of the project objectives, your technology, your innovation, whatever you're presenting to anybody. So first of all, you can use elevator pitch. You can use this tool, elevator pitch, to define your innovation. What is your solution? What is project about? And what is the main goal of the project? Okay, because if you do not define it at the beginning of your application or of your presentation, it won't be clear in the next text or presentation or slides. It won't be clear what you really offer. What's your offer actually, and the solution, right? So that's why a few methods, few tools you need to use to define it as clear as possible. That's why elevator pitch. The second thing is also storytelling. It's also graphics and smart objectives. So about elevator pitch, graphics, and smart objectives, I was telling last time. So today, storytelling, because storytelling is you can also use during the pitch with the jury, during the interview with the jury, and also in application. Elevator pitch. it's a really simple tool, and it's common, and you know about it. I don't know if you try to prepare this elevator pitch, but for sure you know the name. But try to do it, okay? It's not so easy as you think, and you might think that, oh, it's too easy, it's too simple, I don't need to use it. But actually, when you start to think about, start to define this really simple sentences, you might think it's after a few minutes that it's not really so easy. So first of all, for who? So here you can you should define your target customer, target market group. So your target, who has. So in that point, you should focus on customer need. So what's their problem? What's your solution for that problem? Then you can put the name of your innovation. I mean, not let's say dragon free, because it doesn't say what is it, but for example, it's the system for blah 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 blah. Okay, system or integrated tool, or be more detailed. Some more details. What is market category? The market category, maybe not geographically, but for example, for manufacturers of wood furniture. Here we also need some details, because you can have niche market, and this might be interesting for your partner, so or your audience. So try to find the right market, not so wide. Of course, it can be for wide market, like, I don't know, manufacturer of tools. But if you have special toy, intelligent toy, you can define it as a connected smart toys market. Okay. So try to find as much details as you can. That key benefit of from your innovation. So here you have to define your benefits. You can also use these benefits when you start to think about elevator pitch. You may have many ideas. So here you should put this one, which is the most important and remarkable. But the rest is also good, because you can put it into the Canvas business model. Okay, so you can use more ideas which probably you have here. Unlike competition, for example, unlike the competitor, the name or the technology doesn't have something. Okay, and the product, solution, and innovation, unique differentiator. So here you should put different unique differentiator, like unique feature. So I know the questions. So what is benefit and what is unique differentiator? What to use? You can use it. You can use both of them. I mean, so few benefits which you have here, you can use as a unique differentiator, but you have to choose the most important thing and something which will be remembered, because it's the last word, last sentence, so it will be remembered. So you have to use here something which is really important, the most important thing. Okay, so we have elevator pitch, and when you start to prepare your application, use elevator pitch structure to define your innovation. As I said, your sentences will be clear. The next sentences will be clear for people, for experts, for evaluators, or jury members. And try to be decide, try to build your sentences the same way during the whole text. I mean, details, not so many additional words, but try to find things which are really important, and find more details. What is storytelling? So now we have elevator pitch and storytelling, because elevator pitch is kind of description which is detailed description of your objective or technology. And storytelling is something what would involve your audience into that the text or presentation. So in storytelling, you use relations, emotions, and you have to be authentic. So this is the difference, a little difference. So you are telling a story. What is storytelling? It's story. It's telling a story. So you use emotions. You use emotions, different emotions, but try to think about animation movies for kids. This example is from Pixar studio. So they use the storyline is similar every time. So it's once upon a time there was something. Every day was nice and calm, right? And one day something happened, something bad probably. Because of that, the hero, our main character, had to fight, had to work hard or whatever, and until finally he became a hero. This is the end. Okay, so but everything is based on in that story is based on emotions. So emotions involved us in the story. And we have main rules, 7 main rules of the storytelling. So first of all, immerse your audience in a story. Tell a personal story, because you have to be authentic. Create living characters. If you are authentic, you're telling your story, your characters will be living characters. Show, do not speak. So sometimes, of course, when you prepare application, for the application, what does it mean for application? It means that you can use graphics, of course, because it's easier to remember. And the second thing is also that you have a presentation for the jury members, right? And what is also important, create a star moment. Star moment is something they will always remember. So you probably know that, for example, when you introduce yourself and you would like to be remembered, you should use something in description of yourself to be unique, to be remembered. Okay, so this is something like that. So something they will always remember, star moment. And with a positive accent that will stay with your audience. Why you should use storytelling in your application? We have seen a lot of something like that in application. So if you would like to be if you would like to have better application, you should use also the same tools and do something more, of course, to be better and better. So we recommend you to use the storytelling. I would like to give you an example, because this is the second thing after elevator pitch. I mean, the defining of your innovation, present a short description or presentation of your innovation at the beginning of application, and then you should present what problem you solve. Okay, so this is very good moment for using storytelling, because you can present your solution in the way like that. Imagine that for example, first responders are going to the site of catastrophe, and usually they use some kind of tools or equipment, and the cost of it is blah, 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 etc. And now we have our solution, and if they use them, okay, so now imagine that they use our equipment, they are more effective, and the costs, for example, lower. Okay, so do something like that, or you can create a story with totally different storyline, but now you know what I mean. And storytelling techniques. So we need to have strong start to the top, separate parts of the story, beginning, middle, and the end, Remember, must be positive, of course. And if you're giving a pitch, so your voice should be, you have to use voice differentiation. And examples. Okay, so examples in application or in presentation on pictures. So this is this kind of storytelling. So we have before we have some things which were crashed, and after we repair it, and after this you can see the effect. And the second, the transport of the future. Second example is that you can start with the story that okay, nowadays the transport, the traffic, there's a huge disaster, etc. And you can show something like that, and then present your solution, which is the opposite, right? So we solve so many problems. This is very important to show that we you solve some problems, some challenge. You have the answer for some challenge. That's why using the storytelling is very good. And then third example is from ambulance drone. So this is a real story, because a few years ago, I think, a really young guy designed this ambulance drone, and on pictures you can present it. They can present it like that when there is a traffic and someone has cardiac attack, the other person can alert and can send the alert, and the ambulance drone can come and of course rescue the man. So this is the solution. This is the presentation, storytelling presentation of the solution. You can also use such kind of storytelling in a short movie. So you can have this with actors, but also with animation. So it doesn't matter, but presenting this specific situation is very good for storytelling and involving by emotions. Some more info about storytelling method and data, and many examples you can find on internet everywhere. So we recommend you to use it. Okay, now pitching. So Darek, the floor is yours again.
Okay, but we should switch the presentation probably.
Mm-hmm. Do we have any questions? Okay.
You have to stop sharing, Anya.
Ah, okay. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Welcome once again, and just few advices about the last stage of the evaluation process is this is a meeting with jury members, and when you are here, it means that you were succeeded with the full application, and you received all the goals. So all the reviewers in all the sections, they said go, and you can make a presentation because be in front of a jury, and this could be done in Brussels, but also especially in last times it was done remotely. But few words about the technical aspects of the presentation, about the review. So you have 10 minutes for the presentation. You have to be very well prepared to do this presentation. And my advice is to use 9 minutes 56 seconds, and the whole time you have to make presentation. Nobody will interrupt during this time. You have to know that before your presentation, all the jury members are discussing your case. We do not have much time, but this is about 10-15 minutes. And before your presentations, all the jury members have access to your full application. They have access to the full application, but also they can work with this application, which means that if something is missing or we require any additional information, we are trying to check it or verify this information in the internet. And this is very detailed checking, and for example, according to the patents, this is almost the rule that we will check the outcome of the from the patent institution, so the final report, and which shows the strong point of the applications, the patent applications, and what are weak points, and where are the risks, who is the owner of the patent, and also we are checking the presence of the company. We are checking on Google Street. We are looking for checking how this building is looking like, and if there is any building, because it could happen that there is no something. And usually in this time we are using to collect all the questions we have, which can be asked during the Q&A session. The Q&A session is taking 30 minutes. So after the presentations, when nobody will interrupt you, there is a Q&A session, 30 minutes, and every jury member will ask you a question. And my advice is try to be concise and your answer should be to the point, because 30 minutes it's not so big, it's a long time. It's not so long time, but your task is to deliver all the informations which are required by the jury members. If they won't have time to ask additional questions, they will do not have answers for those questions, so they will treat these informations as a risk, because they probably there was a situation that the jury member could not find the information in the full application, and our role is to assess the business and decide or advise to the European Commission to give you money for developing the business. So 30 minutes. Next, okay, probably have, okay. You have to be prepared. Maximum 3 persons can make a presentation. For sure, my advice is to be 3 persons during the interview. Sometimes the interview is done by 1 person, but in the Q&A session, all the persons on all the team members are answering to the questions. But very often, probably 90% of the presentations are done by at least 2 persons. So the business part is split from the technological part, and it is presented by other team members. And be well prepared to make the presentations, and do not try to put too much informations. This should be a well prepared pitch deck. You can practice doing pitch during different challenges. Probably you did it before, but the presentation should answer all the main questions. I will tell you about it later on. And 30 minutes Q&A session, and you are leaving the floor, and the jury have 25 minutes to make a decision. And this is the final decision. This is advice to the European Commission, and also advice to the European Fund to do the to finance your business or not. And according to the rules, you have second chance. It was discussed during one of the first seminars. What are the rules of the projects? Okay, and the truth is that due diligence, which is done by EIC Fund, is what experts are doing every time they are making assessment of your business proposal, which is application to EIC Accelerator. And at the very beginning, when you are applying with the short applications, the main points are related to the novelty of the technology, about the team, about some social impacts. Then you are sending the full application, which includes all the informations about the business, about the strategy. And with these full applications, you are sending also pitch deck, 10 slides pitch deck, which cannot be changed during the interview, before the interview. This is the same pitch deck which was prepared when you send the full application. You cannot change it. Of course, you have the possibility to make a discussion about this changes during a Q&A session, and also what you will say during the presentation, it's up to you. But this presentation, this pitch deck cannot be changed. And if there will be a decision that you will be invested by EIC fund, the EIC fund, like every financial institutions, will make a due diligence, so they will check everything which is related to your business idea, and they will check strategy, this financial projections. You have to know that the Excel with financial projections is one of the attachments to the full application. So in this financial projections, it is for 5 years ahead, and there are historical data for 2 years before the time of the application. For sure, you remember that the European impact will be checked, because Europe is financing your project, your product, and is expecting that this product will influence the European market. Of course, the team, the governance structure, the composition, if there are all the necessary resources, this is one of the very important topics which are checked by the EIC fund. Experience. That's why all the time we are telling you, describe your team members based on their experience, which can be used during the market deployment process of your product. Okay, and what is okay? Value proposition, competition, milestones, the intellectual property, very important part. If somebody will invest huge money in your development, they want to be sure that they are investing money in the product which belongs to you. You are the owner. Even I told you before about the cap table, which is included when you are asking for investment part. So even if you do not have investment, you have to put all the information about the investment, which means all the grants, when it was done, how much money you received, and about convertible loans, if there was something like this, when you have to pay back this money, and about investment from private investors. This could be business angels, seed capitals, or ventures. Sometimes it happens. And even if you do not have venture capitals on board, please go to the financial institutions, start to talk with them, ask for financing. If they will decide that it's too risky, your business is too risky today, but they are very much happy to invest in your company in the future, please ask for the letter of intent and include this letter of intent in the full application. And according to the team also, even if you are small, you have to show that you are prepared to be big. This is maybe a little bit complicated, but to be big, all the team members, core team members, should be motivated, very much motivated to implement, to finalize the development process and implement the product in the market. Which means this is not the rule, but it's strange when one of the team members have 99% and other 3 people have a percentage of 1%. This is strange. It's good to motivate the managers, key managers in the company, or make a plan for motivation plan for those managers, so that you can spend some of the shares of the company to those people, because the development of the company, of the business, is very much related to their work. So they have to be very much motivated. And one more thing which is related to the pitch. If you are 3 persons during the speech and during the Q&A session, show that you are working as a team. So you have competences, all the competences which are necessary to the development of the company, and you can work together. So not only one person is answering all the questions. Split the questions between all the team members, and show that by the way you are presenting, show that you are team and you are working at the team all in every day. Okay, this is the evaluation process. So as I told you, you have a chance for 1 resubmission. If you will receive a second chance, 1 resubmission directly to the next one of the next 2 jury members meetings, and you can resubmit also the full proposal during one of the next 2 calls. And this is a description what should be on the pitch deck, but this is general information, because the pitch deck should be dedicated to your product and to your business model. But usually people are including all these informations in a very short way, in the way of storytelling. So some additional informations which are not related to the business development mainstream are excluded from this presentation. This could be added. This is in full proposal. This could be described during the Q&A session. And okay, but and one more thing, why I said that use 9 minutes and 59 seconds, because if you will talk longer than 10 minutes, you will be interrupted. You will not have a chance to finish your presentation. And not finishing the presentation, it doesn't look very well, but the main disadvantage of this situation is that the jury members want to receive the informations which were included at the end of the presentation. So they will have to spend the time during Q&A session asking questions about what was not said during the presentation, and then ask questions which are related to the things which are not clear for them. Team, okay, I told you 3 members, CEO, CFO, CTO. For fintech, for example, or for medical products, it's good to have a medical doctor on board, probably. And you should remember that the commitment of the core team in the project should be 100%. This is not a rule, but you have to make a very precise explanation when one of the core team members does not have commitment at the level of 100%. And okay, all this stuff which is related to make a good presentation, but Anna told you before about how to do the presentation and be natural. Okay, just going back to the rules and TRL 5/6 till TRL 9, so that to the end of the TRL 8 can be financed from the grant part. Everything above can be financed from the investment part. And what about if you're asking only for the grant, you can receive the amount of grant you ask, but your application can be rejected. Or if you do not have put the consents for the investment part, and the jury members will find the activities which were related to the commercialization, they will be not financed in the grant part. So all the work packages where the activities related to the commercialization or scale up or marketing task were found, whole work package will be not financed. Blended finance, it means that you are asking for the grant part and the investment part, and in case there are some activities which are related to the marketing and commercialization in the grant part will be founded by the jury members, they will be moved to the investment part. So they will be still financed, but not from the grant, but from the investment part. And consent, which means that in this case, what I told you before, you are agreed that jury members will advise to make an investment by the EIC fund in your company. And in case if there are any activities which are related to the commercialization in the grant part, they have to be moved to the investment fund, investment part. But if the amount of money asked in this work package is less than 500,000 euro, €500,000, this would be skipped because the minimum of level of investment is €500,000, 500K. Okay, that's probably all for today, and we are on time. So you are very much welcome to ask questions. Okay.